Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Whoa, Smoky Hours angle. Smoky Hours angle. Indeed, as I'm hitting this recap from my laptop. And if you notice, I am wearing the same exact shit. I'm actually in the recap immediately after the event. I never do this, but I just felt like, why not? Why not? Why not? By the time it's still my birthday. By the time you're watching this, it probably won't be anymore. But UFC Fight Night Vancouver, UFC Fight Night Canada, aka. It was fire. I didn't do that well with the picks, to be quite honest. I believe I went 6-7. I have to recount that. But it was spooky, man. A lot of dogs. Night of the dogs. Dogs barking. Dogs barking. I was surprised. That's what I felt like on UFC Perth. In UFC Perth, that was the worst card I think I've ever picked on the channel. I went like 3-9 or some shit. Like, maybe 2-9. Actually, I think there were 11 fights. Something crazy. Like, something really absurd. The worst card I'd ever picked on the channel. I felt absolutely great, but I picked a fuck ton of underdogs. I picked like the majority underdogs. Here I didn't. I actually felt really good about the picks. Did get some perfect picks. Did get some semi-perfect picks. Got the main event. Got some good underdogs as well, and we'll get to that. But a lot of fights did not end the way I thought they were going to end, man. Very, very scary here. But starting off with the first prelim, Melissa Croden versus Tainara Lisboa. Now, I had Tainara Lisboa. In the first round, I actually thought she looked amazing. I thought she looked better than Melissa Croden. I knew Melissa Croden was a slow starter. Tainara Lisboa looked like the better striker, the more competent Muay Thai striker, especially in the standing clinch, and I was hyped about that. I was like, Melissa Croden likes to come forward and get that clinch and bully girls in it. Lisboa is a good fighter, though. Like, I don't think you want to do that with Lisboa, possibly the better Muay Thai fighter. It was that way until it wasn't. Melissa Croden did look strong. She looked big, how I thought. And she started landing on Tainara, especially once she started, like, picking up rhythm, picking up the pace in the second and third rounds, and then she actually ended up getting a finish, I believe. I might be mistaken about that. I think she got a finish. I might be misremembering that, but I think Melissa Croden pounded out Tainara Lisboa calmly, too. It was actually quite impressive. Melissa Croden came back, because I think even in parts of the second round, Tainara Lisboa was winning. Not insanely, just beating Melissa Croden. Good fight. Good start of the card. Moving on to a fight that scared me, but I was ready for this one. I understood the risks with this one. I thought, especially too with the odds, like I thought the odds makers were on my wavelength, the way I was thinking about Azamat Bakoyev, and the fact that I thought Azamat Bakoyev was going to look like a strong favorite, look like a decent favorite in this one. Talking about Azamat Bakoyev versus UFC debutant Yusri Belgari. Yusri, I had talked about, not extensively, but I talked about him a little bit in my picks and predictions video for this card. As when I was doing my research on him, I had seen that this man had fought multiple big names, world-class fighters in kickboxing and Glory Kickboxing, including, but not limited to, Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, including, and in these fights, man had a win. Man had recorded a win over Alex Pereira. So, Alex Pereira also beat the shit out of him, but he did beat Alex for the one time, the first time they fought. And he's huge. He's also huge like them. Man's 6'5", but he's fighting at middleweight. Azamat was landing heavy shots. He would land heavy shots, get reactions out of Yusri. I felt like there was a grappling difference, but the thing was, Yusri actually sliced Azamat Bakoyev open early with elbows to the side of the head. And then slowly Azamat Bakoyev just got, I said slowly, but slowly he got slower and slower, It was a shame because I thought Azamat Bakoyev would basically be better than this dude all around. Maybe not unbelievably better or even better necessarily in the striking, but competent, appear, at least. But no, Yoshiri's striking was legit. He's big as fuck, and he knows how to use his size. He's like... I don't want to violate, because I fuck with Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson's got me paid, but man is like a dangerous Sean Woodson. Yoshiri Belgari. Dangerous Sean Wilson wins in his UFC debut with a finish, with a KO TKO win over a dangerous dude, dangerous and talented dude, Azamat Bakoyev. Moving on. Started off the card 0-2. Shit was spooky. First fight, first pick that we got correct, Stephanie Luciano versus Ravena Oliveira. Now, this one was also kind of crazy, as Ravena Oliveira actually looked quite good moving down to strawweight. She did look quite good. She made the weight. Stephanie Luciano was just better. At first, it wasn't that way, actually. I felt like in the first round, Ravena always looked scary when she was throwing punches, throwing kicks. They were fast, they were sharp. They were just inaccurate. The technique was sharp, it was just inaccurate. Off the mark, off the target. Stephanie Luciano was able to actually kind of change that from just, like, making her miss to actually countering her big time. And ended up winning by submission. I had Stephanie Luciano winning by decision. She actually got a submission off on Ravena Oliveira. It was good. Ravena just kind of got caught. Arm got under the chin, around the neck. Wasn't attacking the choke hand properly, and Ravena was forced to tap. It was a great win from Stephanie Luciano. First pick correct. Not perfect, but first pick correct. On the card. Moving on. I don't know if they played this in this order. Yes, this might not have been the correct order, but Kyle Prepolak versus Drew Dober. Now, that was a banger of a fight. Kyle Prepolak actually put on a show, low-key. So did Drew Dober, obviously. Drew Dober won this fight by KO TKO in the third and final round. I had him winning by round 1 KO TKO, so the semi-perfect pick. But Kyle Prepolak, man, super unorthodox style that's developed even more, but it's actually effective. I like watching it, and man was cracking and hurting Drew Dober. Dropped him a couple times, in fact. A lot of controversy where I forget what happened. It was a big knee. Something had happened. Can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to try to put in a little editor's note, a pause here, so if there's a cutaway or something, it'll explain it. But there was a pause in the action. There was a long pause in the action that maybe gave Drew Dober the chance to recover and get that finishing sequence off. Either way, that finishing sequence happened. Drew Dober was the winner of that one very calmly. Moving on. Danny Barlow versus Jordan Santos. Pain, but it was a great fight. Again, this fight actually went the distance. Jordan Santos won. Underdog won. And the shit that was scary was just like, Danny Barlow did actually look kind of like shit. He actually did. Not the worst. Not the worst. It looked like he was going to KO Jordan Santos, possibly, but then Jordan Santos started landing really crisp, straight shots, straight 1-2s himself. Completely turned around the fight, had Danny Barlow hurt multiple times. And Jordan was getting hurt and cut open, but he just literally straight up walked through it, kept attacking Danny Barlow, and took him to a decision win. Hard fought, but well earned by Jordan Santos. I was expecting the KO TKO in round 2 by Danny Barlow, and it literally almost happened. It almost happened. There was a finishing sequence. Danny Barlow was chasing him down. It just did not go down like that, unfortunately. We move on. Danny Barlow, got to be a little bit more, keep our eye on this dude a little bit more, be a bit more careful about picking that guy. As that was the first major hiccup, even though I had already had incorrect picks before, just in terms of the betting. Moving on, Bruno Silva versus Hyun-Sung Park. Sad, very sad, but it was what it was. Bruno Silva fought his ass off, back on the roids. He's back on the roids. He keeps his 100% finishing streak in terms of, or 100% finish rate in terms of wins. alive in the UFC. Hyun-Sung Park was giving him work. I'm not going to lie. He was actually giving him a little bit of work, but Bruno, there was a power difference. There was a power difference between the two. Bruno Silva was touching Hyun-Sung Park and dropping him. There was just a difference in the ground game. It was scary. Hyun-Sung Park tries to get up at the end of the fight. Leaves his neck exposed for 1 second, and Bruno Silva snatches it up in a rear naked choke and taps him out. Very calm. Very nice work by Bruno Silva. Man needed that win. Moving on to what I believe was the featured fight of the... Actually, no, they had another one in here. I believe they played this one in this order, actually, though. Cody Gibson versus Arichi Lang. Perfect pick. I called the round 1 KO TKO victory by Arichi Lang. I was saying it. I feel like no one was saying it. I believed. I knew it. I had visions of that shit. I'm not joking. I had visions of that fucking shit. Funny enough, it had to be on a card that I lost, essentially. But I had visions of it. He got it done super quickly. Just like it was like a straight punch, straight down the pipe. Knocked Cody Gibson back. Arichi Lang follows up, and it's all over extremely quickly. Juicy. Man was an underdog. And then moving on. Excuse me. To Charles Jourdain versus Davy Grant. I had Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain did win, but he won by submission after brutally dropping Davy Grant. And it was kind of how I predicted it. I did think that the major difference was going to be a combination of two things, or one thing, mainly. The two things being, one, the youth of Charles Jourdain, and two, being the age and durability and mileage of Davy Grant on the other side of that same coin. You know, there's a chance that there's going to be a time where like he starts going downhill physically, and there's nothing else to say about that. He did look good. He had his moments against Charles Jourdain, honestly, but Charles Jourdain had more moments, and the climax was a massive knockdown in which Charles Jourdain followed up with a little pounce, got the guillotine in super fucking tight. Ripped it. Davy Grant had to tap. Blood splashing. Blood splurting everywhere. Fire. Moving on. Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frivola opening up the main card, I believe. Now, this fight was actually quite good. It's going to definitely be shrouded in controversy. A lot of weird shit. There was weird shit on this card. I'll say, when fights happen in Canada, weird shit happens. There was weird shit on this card. Kyle Nelson and Matt Frivola go at it. I don't remember if it was the end of the first or the end of the second round, but Matt Frivola gets hurt really fucking bad. Kyle Nelson is pounding him out, and with about 3 seconds, it looks like, on the clock, the referee, Dan Mergliotta, steps in. But the fight doesn't get stopped, technically. It just stops the round. Round number 2 is about to start. Both men are up and looking at each other, but people are complaining, people are talking, there's confusion. Eventually they just start fighting, and round number 2 begins, and they finish the fight going the distance. Kyle Nelson got the victory there, well-deserved victory. I had Matt Frivola winning, and it looked like he might. He looked better than he did in his last one. I mean, that might not be the hardest thing to do in the world, but hey. Kyle Nelson, by decision, very calm. It was spooky. Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. This is when most of the bets got killed for me, because Jasmine is my girl. I was riding heavily on Jasmine. And even, I don't know, I didn't expect this shit to happen like this. Like, Manon Fiorot fucked up Jasmine Jasudavicius, TKO'd her, but basically one-shot her. Like, the shot that fucked her up originally, it was one punch, and it really, really, really compromised her. Manon Fiorot is deadass like that. I thought it was maybe because she was maybe a little bit bigger, been bullying some other girls, but no. She's like that. Jasmine Jasudavicius is nice. That really hurt me a lot to see that. If you're watching me on stream, you know I took a couple minutes, because that just hurt a lot. Fuck all the bets. Like, Jasmine is one of my favorite fighters to pick on this channel. I fuck with watching her fight. I love Jasmine. And it was a shame. She just got packed out super quick. I thought that was my most anticipated fight. I thought that was going to be the best fight on the card, and it was honestly kind of anticlimactic. But moving on. Marlon Vera versus Amin Zahabi. I was kind of in and out of this one. I wasn't watching it as heavily. I had Amin Zahabi winning by decision, which he did. I'm not sure how controversial it was. There were moments that I saw Marlon Vera actually fucking up Amin Zahabi, though. I will say that. I also saw Amin Zahabi fucking up Marlon Vera just a teensy-weensy bit. Maybe not as bad, but to be fair. Moving on. I also had Amin Zahabi winning that fight, but Cheeto was scaring me as a dog because I thought Cheeto might get a finish. And he almost did. He knocked and rocked Zahabi. I just don't remember when exactly. Moving on. Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. I had Kevin Holland winning by decision. He almost did. He straight up almost did. There's another thing, shadowed in controversy, mired in controversy. Kevin Holland gets hit in the nuts, takes all the time, all the 5 minutes of the time, and then some. And then shit starts getting weird. Mike Malott gets the unanimous decision win. Actually, no, it was a split decision. Either way, gets the decision. It was a good fight for both men. Kevin Holland looked kind of decent, actually. Mike Malott looked okay, too, even though Mike Malott was actually getting cracked by some shit. And Kevin Holland was kind of actually game planning. But good fight, good fight. Again, made me sad that Kevin didn't win, but moving on. Ranier de Ritter versus Brendan Allen, the main event. That was just the co-main that I rattled off there. A lot of people had RDR. RDR was the favorite. That makes sense. I actually had this man, Brendan Allen, by round 2 KO TKO. It happened in round 4 due to retirement. Man said, no mas. No mas. No more. I don't want to continue. I don't want to fight anymore. So I was off on the round, but I was correct with the method of victory, the KO, TKO, and the fighter. So not the worst with that one. And it was a birthday stream. The birthday stream was crack. Thank you to everybody that pulled up. It was one of the best streams, actually, in terms of likes and viewers overall, but it was phenomenal. Thank you guys again for watching. Expect more content. Might feel like the rushed video because I'm exhausted. And you'll probably see this, like I said, on Sunday, the 19th. But thank you for watching. Everybody that pulled up to the Smoky Hours Fight Companion, thank you. Pull up to the Smoky Hours Fight Companion if you don't already. We get crazy. One of the best shows you're missing out on. You're not watching on YouTube, if I do say so myself. With the best community that you're already almost a part of if you're watching this, I guess. But please, I hope I see you there. Let me know where you came from. Let me know anything. Write in the comments. Write to me. I love responding. I'm very active. I will get back to you, and probably quickly. But yes, thanks for watching. As always, like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Subscribe to see more content, and let me know if when I say subscribe, does it light up the subscribe button? Subscribe. Again, thanks for watching. Much love. Big kiss. Hello, friends of again. This is just going to be a little snippet, little addendum to the video that I just made. Obviously, it's the morning after the fights. Not my birthday anymore, but birthday weekend. You know the vibes. Card was fire again. I'm not going to be recapping the whole card. I just actually wanted to talk a little bit more about the final fight. And there were a lot of shenanigans. There's some good memes I saw in the morning, good pics that I wanted to include, throw some stuff in there, some tweets, some stuff, blah, blah, blah. We'll probably just talk over it in the meantime. RDR quitting, man. RDR quitting. RDR deadass quit. It is what it is. People are going to try to come and be like, yeah, I could never. You could never. RDR's a warrior, man. Fought 5 times this year. That's his. No one. Who put a gun to that man's head and said fight 5 times this year? Fucking did. Okay, again, I don't want to start violating people, right? Especially after the fact. That's not cool. But I feel like before this fight, motherfuckers were like, Brendan Allen can't win this. Brendan Allen's taking this on short notice. And now instead of people saying RDR is dog shit, RDR is a quitter, or Brendan Allen is nice. They're just saying a combination of two things. One, RDR has been super active, and two, Brendan Allen has jiu-jitsu. That's like really what they're saying. And that shit is just, I don't know, it's trash. It's trashy. It's trashy as fuck. Brendan Allen whooped your boy's ass. I called it too, but that's okay. That is absolutely okay. Just take a look here, because there was some pictures, some shit that I just saved. That's just one thing that I wanted to talk about here. Okay. I'm going to put it up on screen now, so you'll probably see it. When Brendan Allen was walking out, I completely missed this, right? I'm live streaming the entire time, but I missed this completely. I didn't see this shit. When Brendan Allen was walking out, right? I'm reading off my phone, that's why I'm looking down. This phone, actually. I got a new phone for my birthday. Peep this motherfucker. This is the new phone, obviously. This is the phone that has produced most of the content on this channel. An iPhone 8. Technically a vintage phone. Everything before an iPhone 10 right now, I think technically is a vintage phone. And I've been rocking with the 8. It's good. It's a fucking great phone. You don't need anything else. What the fuck? What do you need more than one camera for? I don't even understand that. And all the phones are so big now. Like, I think this, like, you see this? Relative size to my hand. I'm kind of scrunching my hand down. This is a perfect size, you know. Hello. When I see people with, like, the Max, like, I'm like, bro, that's a tablet. Like, you just have a fucking tablet, which is fine. But also be smaller people and women that have these giant-ass phones. I'm like, I don't even understand that. Like, you can't even have that on you. You have to carry that in, like, a bag or your hand. You can't even, like, put it in your pocket. But I digress. Weird phone rant over. This picture, very strange picture, apparently, as Brendan Allen was walking out, someone put their phone in front of the camera, something like this. I'm looking at the post, obviously, but someone put their phone out, and there's gonna be a picture up. It's probably gonna be already here, so you'll see what I'm talking about. But someone put a picture up, and people were just saying that this picture was very disturbing. I don't know how disturbing it is. I don't know what the fuck it is. It actually didn't seem disturbing at all to me. It actually looked like Brendan Allen. I was like, is that Brendan Allen just, like, fucked up? But, like, post-fight, more people started to say it looks like a boy, possibly. Like a boy with a bloodied boy chained to something. Chained to, like, a bathroom floor. Chained to, like, some kind of area. I don't know what the fuck that is. It was posted in the fucking r/serial killers thing. I haven't actually read the thread, so maybe I should pop over. Yeah, actually, we're gonna take a little look over at that. I just thought that was bizarre. I was like, what the hell? And people were like, the dude that showed that picture was wearing a lucha mask, was wearing a Mexican wrestling mask, right? So you can't see his face, but he had like a devilish grin, like man was like hyped to show that shit. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Very bizarre. Here we go. Let's go to the serial killer subreddit right now. Now, people in the thread actually are saying that it got deleted. Now, this may be nothing, honestly. I just thought it was interesting. It was just some shit that I saw, you know. Just wanted to throw that out there. That was the last thing. That's actually really why I hopped on here. I just wanted to talk about that specifically. That was just so fucking bizarre, that picture and that post. But, yeah, you know, it was an alright night of fights. I had a great birthday. Thank you to everybody that hopped in the stream and spent time with me, please. We're trying to grow the community here. The community is growing, actually. It was one of the most successful streams, to be honest, in a while. We weren't that successful with the picks. 6 and 7? 6-7. But that was actually not the worst finish. I started off the card 1-4. So that shit turned around a little bit, actually. Got a couple perfect picks in there, a couple semi-perfect picks, a couple good underdog picks, including the main event and Arichi Lang perfect pick, which is, I'm actually quite proud about that one. Should have been some more perfect picks, actually. Should have been Kevin Holland by decision. It should have been Danny Barlow by round 2 KO TKO. It should have been there's one other one that I feel like was kind of some bum shit. Anyways, decent night of fights. I'm going to be back next week. Fuck, there's no Dana White Contender Series. But actually, that will give me time, hopefully, to make some other content. I'm actually going to be working on some other content as soon as I finish this video, so hopefully that comes on the way. Again, thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves for me. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video for any reason. Subscribe to see more content. Please leave a comment. I love the comments. Again, thanks for watching. Much love. Big kiss.